All right, let's dive into a real-life literary mystery, one that's been hiding in plain sight for about 2,700 years. It's all about one of ancient Israel's greatest heroes, King Hezekiah, and a strange case of a mixed-up timeline that once you solve it has this surprisingly powerful message.
So get this. The main puzzle is that the story of King Hezekiah, right there in the Book of Kings, is told completely out of order. A huge event from early in his time as king gets plopped down at the very end of his story. And you have to ask, why? Why would somebody intentionally scramble the biography of a national hero?
Okay, so here's the deal. The official record in Kings gives us a version of Hezekiah's life that just doesn't line up with the historical timeline. And this isn't some ancient typo. It feels like a really deliberate choice. To figure it out, we've got to look at what actually happened and when.
So historically, the sequence is pretty straightforward. Around 712 BC, Hezekiah has this huge personal crisis. He gets so sick that he's basically on his deathbed. He prays and, incredibly, God gives him 15 more years of life. Then, fast forward more than a decade to 701 BC. Now he's facing his biggest public crisis. The massive Assyrian army is at the gates of Jerusalem, and the city is saved by this stunning, miraculous act of God.
And this is where it gets weird. The Book of Kings just flips the script. It tells the story of the incredible victory over the Assyrians first, and then it tells the story of Hezekiah's illness. By switching them, it makes Hezekiah's story end, not on this massive high note of national victory, but kind of on a low note of personal pride and failure.
So that brings us to the big question in our little investigation. Who did this? Who rearranged the timeline? And what on earth was their reason? I mean, why would you make your hero look flawed at the end of his story, especially when it seems like in real life, his faith got stronger over time?
We've really got two main suspects here. First, you've got the editor or compiler of the Book of Kings. But honestly, their motive is pretty weak. It doesn't really fit with the rest of the book's themes to do this. But our second suspect, the prophet Isaiah, now he has a really compelling motive. You see, this exact same out-of-order story shows up in the book of Isaiah right before this huge, monumental turning point in chapter 40.
And boom, that's the solution to the puzzle. The evidence points pretty strongly to the prophet Isaiah himself being the one who masterfully rearranged these events. The editor of Kings probably just borrowed the story, order and all, directly from Isaiah because it served Isaiah's unique theological point so perfectly.
So what was that point? Well, it was this brilliant four-step argument. First, Isaiah shows Hezekiah's incredible victory to prove, hey, you can trust God. Second, he kind of sets Hezekiah up as a potential Messiah figure, the savior king that was prophesied earlier. But then, and this is the genius move, he puts Hezekiah's human mistake after that big win. Why? To show that even this great king has limits. It's basically a giant signpost for the reader that says, Hezekiah is great, but he isn't the one. We need to keep looking for someone greater.
But wait, there's another piece to this puzzle, and it's hidden in something Hezekiah says. When he's dying, he prays, and he makes this incredibly bold claim to God, saying that he has served him with a perfect heart.
Now, when we hear that, it sounds, well, pretty arrogant, right? A perfect heart? I mean, who can possibly claim to be flawless or sinless? It sounds like a total lie. But that's because our modern idea of perfect is not what he meant at all. You see, the original Hebrew phrase here is lev shalem, and it doesn't mean a flawless heart, like a perfect diamond without a single scratch. It means a whole heart, a complete, totally committed heart. It's about being all in, 100%. It's a claim of total loyalty, not of perfect performance. Think about it this way. You've got the perfection of a diamond, no errors, no blemishes. For a human, that's impossible. But then you have something like a perfect marriage. That's not about two perfect people who never mess up. It's about two people whose hearts are completely and utterly devoted to each other. That's the difference. The biblical scholar Dr. John Oswalt explains it with this beautiful modern example. He says, I have a perfect heart for my wife. She's all I've got. Am I a perfect husband? No, but my heart is perfectly hers. And that is exactly what Hezekiah was trying to tell God. His loyalty was totally undivided.
Dr. Oswalt also uses this other really vivid metaphor. He says his walk with God is like God constantly fishing dead cats out of the swamp of his heart. It's a messy process, right? He's dealing with all his unseen flaws. He's not perfect, but the most important thing is that swamp, his heart, still belongs completely to God.
So after all that detective work, what do we take away from this ancient puzzle? Well, first, that the way a Bible story is structured isn't random. It's often a really clever storytelling choice with deep meaning. Second, that Hezekiah's story was rearranged on purpose to make a huge point about the limits of even our best human heroes. And finally, and this is probably the biggest one for us, the standard God is looking for isn't flawless performance, but a totally committed, perfect heart.
And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. We live in a world that demands perfection from us all the time, in everything we do. So what would it look like to shift our focus? What does that kind of total, wholehearted commitment, a lev shalem, actually look like in our work, in our relationships, and in our faith today?